Is Allah about to give you what you've been waiting for? You've been patient, you've been praying, you've endured storms, silently, storms no one else even noticed. But now, something feels different. It's as if the air around you is shifting, and you're quietly wondering, is Allah about to give me what I've been waiting for all this time? Listen closely. Before Allah gives you something life-changing, He often whispers it through subtle signs. Signs not everyone notices, but if you do, your entire life may be on the verge of transformation. Sign 1. When your life feels out of control, but it's actually falling into place. Everything around you seems to be crumbling. You try to hold things together, but nothing lasts. People you never imagined would leave, disappear. Opportunities you worked so hard for vanish at the moment you need them most. And deep within, you begin to question, did I do something wrong? Is Allah upset with me? But the truth is, this is not a punishment. This is a divine realignment. Allah is not pushing you away. He's pulling you out of spaces you were never meant to stay in. What you thought was loss, was protection. What felt like rejection was redirection. You see, sometimes the blessings we beg for can't reach us until the wrong things are cleared from our lives. So Allah removes the people who are only pretending to care. He delays the plans that would have drained your soul. He shuts doors that looked perfect, but would have destroyed you from within. And yes, it hurts, because you can't see the full picture, but Allah can. He sees the traps you missed. He hears the words said behind your back. He knows the weight you are carrying, so He lifts it, not to break you, but to rebuild you. Because sometimes, before Allah gives you a palace, He has to destroy the prison you built with your own hands. The prison of unhealthy attachments, the prison of false hope, the prison of believing you knew what was best. So if your life feels like it's falling apart right now, maybe it's actually falling into place, and maybe, just maybe, what you thought was the end is actually the beginning of something far greater than you ever even prayed for. Sign 2. You feel extremely tired, but it's not physical. You feel exhausted, but it's not your body. It's something deeper. There's an emptiness in your chest, a strange hollow space you can't quite explain. You're surrounded by people, yet you feel completely alone. You smile, you laugh, but it doesn't touch your heart. You pray, but it feels quiet, still, silent. This isn't sadness. This isn't depression. It's a still aching emptiness that no words can capture, and it scares you. You start wondering, why do I feel like this? Did I lose something? Am I drifting away from Allah? But here's what no one tells you. Before Allah gives you something great, He empties you. He clears space inside your heart. He removes distractions. He quiets the noise of the world so that you can finally listen. Because when your heart is too full of everything else, there's no room left for what's truly meant for you. That emptiness you feel, it's not a punishment. It's a sacred pause, a divine moment of preparation. Think about it. Before a cup is filled with clean water, it must be emptied of what's old and stale. Before a tree bears fruit, it sheds its leaves. Before the sun rises, the world goes completely dark. And that's exactly what's happening to you. You're being emptied, gently, lovingly, so that when the gift finally arrives, you'll be ready. So that when the blessing enters, your heart won't be too distracted to receive it. Allah knows. He knows how patient you've been. He knows about the tears you cried in silence. He knows the strength it took to keep going when no one else saw your pain. And now, He's preparing you. He's making space for something sacred, something beautiful, something life-changing. So if you feel empty right now, don't panic. Don't think something is wrong. That emptiness is not the absence of blessing. It is the proof that the blessing is near, because Allah never places something precious in a heart that isn't ready to carry it. And if your soul feels empty today, it means the gift is closer than you think. Sign 3. You start losing friends, support, and noise. At first you think it's just a phase, but then little by little the signs become clear. People stop checking in. Conversations fade. The group chats grow silent. One by one, the people you once thought were permanent begin to fade away. Some leave quietly, some leave with drama. But either way, you're left standing alone. In the silence, a thought begins to haunt you. What did I do wrong? Why is everyone disappearing right when I need support the most? Here's something many don't realize. Before Allah gives you something big, He often removed the people who can't handle what's coming. You're not being abandoned. You're being refined. You're being elevated. And not everyone was meant to rise with you. Some friendships were only meant to teach you a lesson, not to walk the whole journey with you. Some people were a chapter, not the entire book. When Allah sees that you've outgrown a relationship, He doesn't wait for you to let go. He removes it Himself. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's confusing. But sometimes, the people you miss the most were the ones holding you back the most. Not because they were evil, but because their presence was too loud for you to hear your own growth. When you're surrounded by noise, you miss the whispers of your own soul. You miss the whispers of Allah. So He clears the room. He silences the noise. He removes the distractions. Why? Because what's coming next for you requires focus. It requires you to walk alone, so you can rediscover the strength you forgot you had. It requires you to reconnect with the one who never leaves. Allah. Because sometimes, the loneliness you fear is actually the protection you needed. The silence, it's sacred. The disconnection, it's divine. And the people who left, they didn't break you. They freed you. So if your life feels quiet right now, if you're walking alone, just know this: you're not being left behind. You're being prepared, because the blessing that's coming for you is so big, so heavy, so sacred. It needs space. It needs silence. It needs a stronger, quieter, deeper version of you. And that version of you, it's being built right now, in solitude. Sign 4, you keep seeing. Repeating numbers, words, or themes. You're scrolling through your phone, and suddenly, a verse about patience appears. Then, you hear the same verse in a random lecture. Later that night, someone brings it up in conversation. You weren't looking for it, but it keeps showing up over and over again. Or maybe you keep seeing the same number. Every time you glance at the clock, it's 11:11. Every license plate, every receipt, every random corner of your life is filled with repeating symbols. And something deep inside whispers, this isn't random. And it's not. Allah speaks to the heart in quiet, gentle ways. One of those ways is through repetition. When you keep seeing the same word, the same verse, the same theme, it's not a coincidence, it's a message. But not everyone will understand it, because divine signs aren't shouted, they're whispered, and only those who are truly paying attention can hear them. Allah is guiding you gently. Instead of using thunder or earthquakes to get your attention, He uses patterns. He uses familiarity. He knows what will catch your heart. He knows what will make you pause. He knows what will make your soul lean in. It's his way of saying, "Look closer, I'm showing you something." When your life is about to shift, when something big is being prepared for you, Allah starts waking you up through your surroundings. It could be a phrase that haunts you, a surah that follows you, a dream that keeps returning, a word that echoes in your heart. It makes you feel like the universe is trying to tell you something. But it's not the universe. It's your Lord, the one who created every atom, every moment, and every sign. And sometimes the sign isn't just in what you see. It's in how it makes your heart react. A chill down your spine, tears without explanation, a sense of deep peace in the middle of a storm. That's Allah's way of reminding you, you're not crazy, you're being guided. So don't ignore the signs. Don't call them just coincidences. If something keeps showing up in your life, and it stirs something deep in your soul, that's not random. That's a divine thread pulling you toward your destiny. Follow it, because it might be leading you straight into your next blessing, the one your soul has been waiting for. Sign 5. You experience delays that make no sense. You did everything right. You prayed, you planned, you prepared, you stayed patient. You waited your turn, and still, nothing. You were sure this was the moment. Everything looked perfect. The job was lined up. The person seemed right. The opportunity was finally here. But then, without warning, it slipped through your fingers. And now, you're left staring at the silence, wondering, why would Allah bring me this far just to stop me now? But what if He's not stopping you? What if He's protecting you? Delays are some of the hardest signs to accept. They arrive when your heart is full of hope. And when that hope gets paused, it doesn't just hurt, it shakes your faith. You start questioning everything. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe this dua wasn't meant to be answered. But here's the truth you can't see in the moment. Delays aren't punishments. They're protection, wrapped in hidden wisdom. Allah knows what lies ahead for you. He sees the hidden storms behind what you think is a blessing. He hears the conversations you weren't meant to hear. He knows the weight of what you're asking for, and whether it would lift you or crush you. Sometimes He delays you not to deny you, but to develop you. The blessing you're asking for comes with responsibilities your current self might not be able to carry. So, Allah pauses the blessing while He upgrades the person receiving it. He wants you to grow stronger, wiser, more grateful, more connected to Him. Because if He gave it to you too soon, you might misuse it. You might lose it. Or worse, it might pull you away from Him. So He delays, not to punish, not to frustrate, but to perfect the timing. Because Allah's timing is always beautiful, always calculated, always full of mercy. And sometimes He delays what you want to give you what you need, which might be peace, clarity, protection, or growth. So, if your life feels stuck right now, if the doors just won't open, if everything you've planned keeps getting postponed, it's okay. You're not forgotten. You're not failing. You're not being left behind. You're being prepared for something so good that if it came right now, you wouldn't believe it was meant for you. But it is, and it's on its way. Just not yet. Because Allah doesn't just give gifts. He gives them at the perfect moment, when your heart is truly ready to receive them. Sign 6. You feel an urge to change, but you don't know why. One day you wake up, and something feels different. You can't explain it. There's no dramatic event, no crisis, no breakdown. But deep inside, your soul begins to whisper, I don't want to live like this anymore. Suddenly the things you used to love, the habits, the people, the distractions, don't feel the same. You're not interested in gossip anymore. You feel guilty about the music that once played on repeat. You crave silence. You crave purpose. You want to declutter your room. You want to clean your heart. But when people ask you what's wrong, you don't have an answer because nothing's wrong. Something is just changing. That unexplained urge to pray again, to wear hijab, to lower your gaze, to stay off social media, to delete old contacts, to open the Quran. That pull you feel, it's not random. That's Allah gently, quietly, but powerfully touching your soul. You may not know what triggered it, but deep down, you feel like you're being called to something higher. It doesn't mean you're suddenly perfect. You still slip. You still struggle. But now, you care. Now, you feel it. Now your sins don't sit comfortably anymore. And that discomfort, that restlessness in your soul, it's not a breakdown. It's a spiritual awakening. Before Allah blesses your life outwardly, He purifies you inwardly. He clears your heart. He softens your character. He wakes you up, not to shame you, but to shape you. You're being pushed to become someone greater, not because you're broken, but because you're ready for more. And here's the most beautiful part. You don't need to understand why it's happening. You just need to answer the call. When your heart begins to pull away from the old version of yourself, it's a sign Allah is preparing you for something that old version could never handle. Maybe you're about to be trusted with a new chapter, a new level, a new piece of your purpose. That inner shift, that desire to become better, even when no one sees you. It's one of the clearest signs that something big is on its way. So follow that feeling. Don't ignore it. Don't drown it in distractions, because that quiet urge to change, it's not just a feeling. It's Allah preparing you for the blessing you don't even know you're about to receive. Sign 7. You cry more easily, even without knowing why. You cry more easily, even when you don't understand why. You're sitting in your room and out of nowhere, tears begin to fall. You weren't thinking about anything sad. You weren't even trying to cry. It just happens. A verse you hear in prayer suddenly touches your heart in a way it never did before. A random post online brings you to tears. You're walking alone, and the sky looks beautiful, and something inside you breaks, but you don't know why. Maybe you feel embarrassed by it. You wonder, why am I becoming so emotional? Why am I crying so much over little things? But here's the truth that most people don't realize. Your tears are a sign that your soul is softening, not weakening. You're not falling apart. You're being opened up. Allah is breaking through the walls you didn't even know you built. The walls made from old pain, heavy pressure, disappointment, and silence. Now that those walls are beginning to crack, the water is coming out. Tears. It's Allah's way of cleaning your heart without words, without lectures, without sound, just tears. Because sometimes, when the heart is too tired to speak, Allah lets it cry instead. Those random tears, they're never random. Sometimes they're your soul saying, I'm tired, but I still believe. Other times, they're your soul saying, I'm healing, or even, I'm ready for something greater now. And the closer you get to your breakthrough, the more your soul begins to feel. Because a hard heart cannot hold a soft blessing. And what you're being prepared for is so pure, so delicate, so beautiful, that it needs a soft, awakened soul to receive it. So don't hold back the tears. Don't wipe them away with shame. Don't think crying means you're weak. Even the prophet, peace be upon him, cried. Even the best of creation had moments where the tears flowed, not because of sorrow, but because of love, longing, or closeness to Allah. Those tears, they are signs. They are proof that you're being pulled closer, closer to yourself, closer to truth, closer to Allah. And sometimes your dua isn't on your tongue. It's in your tears, and Allah hears every single one. So if lately you find yourself crying without knowing why, know this: you're not breaking, you're awakening, and it means something beautiful is coming. Sign 8. You start dreaming bigger and feeling guilty for it. Lately your dreams have been growing. You find yourself imagining a better life, a cleaner heart, a stronger version of you. You start thinking, what if I memorized the Quran? What if I changed everything? What if I actually became the person I've always admired? And it feels beautiful for a moment, but then the guilt creeps in. You start to believe you've sinned too much. You've messed up too many times. You're not good enough. Suddenly, the dream that lifted your heart becomes a burden, and you start shrinking again. You silence your own potential, not because you can't do it, but because you feel like you don't deserve to. But listen closely. That dream in your heart didn't come from arrogance. It came from faith. It came from a soul that knows its source. It came from a heart that remembers its creator. Because the moment Allah wants to elevate you, He places a whisper in your soul, a whisper that says, you are made for more. You're not done yet. You haven't even seen who you really are. That whisper isn't pride. It's divine direction. And the enemy wants to drown it with shame, with fear, with guilt. But here's what you need to understand. The desire to become better is not a sign of pride. It's a sign of connection. You're being drawn toward greatness. Not because you're already perfect, but because you're finally ready to grow. Every time you imagine yourself standing in front of Allah with a clean heart, every time you see yourself praying with khushu, every time you imagine breaking free from your bad habits, that's a sign that you're not lost, a sign that your fitra, your pure inner self, is still alive. You may feel unworthy, but Allah is not looking for perfection. He's looking for willing hearts. And if your heart keeps reaching for better, it's because Allah is calling you forward, into something new, into something sacred, into the next level of your purpose. So don't shrink. Don't sabotage yourself with guilt. Don't say, I'm not ready. If Allah placed that vision in your heart, then it's not just possible. It's part of your destiny. And yes, you'll fall along the way. Yes, you'll struggle. But that doesn't mean stop. It means keep walking. Because that dream you're scared to believe in, that image of a stronger, more disciplined, more faithful you, that's not a fantasy. That's a preview of the person Allah is about to turn you into. Inshallah. So now you know. The emptiness, the delays, the loneliness, the tears you couldn't explain, the sudden urge to change, the dreams that scare you with how big they are. None of it is random. None of it is a mistake. It's not a breakdown. It's not bad luck. And it's definitely not Allah abandoning you. It's a sign, a divine message written just for you, that your life is about to shift. Allah doesn't give big blessings to unprepared hearts. So before He gives it to you, He prepares you through silence, through tests, through soul-deep transformation. You've been asking for something, and Allah has been listening, not with delay, but with divine calculation. He's not late. He's not ignoring you. He's working in the unseen, aligning every detail, purifying every intention, sharpening every part of you, so that when the blessing arrives, you're not just ready. You're grateful. You're strong. You're aware of where it came from and who it came from. So if you're seeing these signs, don't give up. Don't walk away. Don't shrink yourself back into the past. You are not being tested just to suffer. You are being transformed for something greater than you ever imagined. And when it arrives, you'll look back and whisper, "Now I understand why it had to happen this way." Because the pain wasn't the ending, it was the preparation. And the signs were never coincidences. They were promises from the most merciful, from the one who never forgets his servant. Your time is coming. Just keep walking, keep believing, keep becoming, because what's written for you will find you. And when it does, it will be so clear, so beautiful, so perfectly timed, you'll know exactly who sent it. Inshallah.